Hello and welcome. My name is Brendan Bunting. I'm a Lancashire-based artist. I'm over in Blackpool at the moment. I'd like to welcome you to today's workshop. So, me as an artist, I like to draw. I like to draw drawings that are quite social and political based and look at the issues that are going on in society. I tend to use newspaper print in my drawings and incorporate like a news story, say, for instance, a topic, say, for instance, it was homelessness, and I'd incorporate the stories around homelessness into the image. So it's got a bit of push and play into it. So there's a lot of collage that goes on into my work, and it's something I will talk about today, a little bit of collage, but I'm going to introduce you to another artist method today. It's called frottage. So frottage is French for rubbing, and it means to rub. And it's coined, the phrase was coined by a German artist called Max Ernst. So Max Ernst was a painter, and he was in his studio one day, and in front of him, he had a blank canvas. So when we think of a blank canvas, a blank piece of paper, we see white, we see nothing, and we're like, ooh, quite overwhelmed with it, really. And you just don't know where to start. So he was in his studio, quite overwhelmed by this big white canvas, and he's thinking, where can I do, what can I do? How can I get started? And he's looking down at his floorboard. And his floorboard is quite bare, and it's got these grains on it, this texture. And he decided to put the canvas straight down onto the floorboard and got a pencil and just started rubbing. And he started to pick up the texture from the surface of the wooden flooring right onto his canvas. And then he turned that into other pieces of artwork, landscapes, animals, and this developed. And that's where frottage comes from. So today we're going to look at that and explore that. So you need to start off with, you're going to need some paper. It can be any type of paper. This is just a normal little sketchbook from one of the local supermarket shops. Dead easy, dead cheap to buy. I've also got some scrap sort of newspaper. This is like chippy paper, for instance. So if you're big on recycling, no matter what paper you've got hanging around your house, you can use that. So any type of material is good to use to start off with. And obviously paper comes in different shapes and sizes, doesn't it? And different sort of levels of thickness. And you can experiment this way. It doesn't matter what you can use anything around your house. So any type of paper that you've got. You will also need something to draw with. So I've got a pencil here. I've also got a graphite stick as well. Crayons are good, pens are good, felt tips, pastels, charcoal, anything that you can kind of got knocking around your house. The good thing about this workshop is it doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to go spending loads of money on expensive art materials. All you need is the basic pencil, pen, that's it, and paper. And away you go. So, frottage. If we were to look maybe around the space that you're in at the moment in your house and see what texture you've got. Like just behind me here is my radiator. So a bit like the floorboard. If I was to rub over it, so I would place my paper against it and use my pencil and see what texture I can pick up. So this can be quite noisy, so just bear with me. And as you can see, I've just literally just picked up some of the texture off the radiator behind me. I've not even had to move off my couch. I've just created some artwork. Obviously, it's not very technical at the moment. I've just picked up a bit of texture, but you can do a lot more with it. What I recommend is you have a look around your house. You might have a textured window, definitely in the bathrooms as well, where they're quite frosted and they can pick up, you know, that they make interesting images. Have a look at your kitchen. Now, I've just been rooting through my kitchen before to see what I've got. I found a cheese grater. This is fantastic. Plenty of textured surface all the way around it. This would be excellent for rubbing. And I picked up a spatula as well. As you can see, holes in it. Again, another interesting textured surface. So, again, the same thing. I'm just going to take a quick couple of rubbings of the kitchen implements here that I've got. The good thing about this, it's very relaxing. You don't need a high lot of skill to do it either. You don't need to be Picasso or Michelangelo. You can just pick up your pencil, pick up your paper, and away you go, and just have an explore around your house for texture surface. That's beautiful. That really, really picks up that spatula, as you can see. And again, with cheese grater, this has got four texture sides here, so it can put, there'll be a right good contrast in picking up the texture. Probably best not to do this when somebody else is watching a telly in the same room as you, or if it's early morning. Just a quick tip for you there. So here we are. I've just done two sides of the cheese grater, and we have a different level of textured surface there. What I found is also really, really good for doing around the house for textured surface, and it's really picks up the tones and the textures of it, is money, coins. You can really, for instance, I will be able to pick up the Queen and the emblems and the writing on here, and this makes a really interesting image that you can build up. So what I've also found really interesting, I've got quite a few empty bottles from the weekend, and some of these beer bottles and wine bottles have got their own emblem and text on them. So just before we started, I went around my house and started picking up all the different bottles and all the different logos and textures. So this makes a really nice image on its own, which you could actually just frame straight away, you know, interesting artwork there. There's another one. I actually did a bottle cap there and a ring pull as well to just keep it on the same sort of theme. So is this confined to just your home? No, you can actually do this out and about. If you went into your garden, for instance, I went into my garden earlier, my wall is quite sort of rugged and can take a good textured rubbing of that. The floor, for instance, even out onto your street where you've got the grids. Now, outside my house, the grid has got the actual town's name on it. So that's quite interesting in itself to pick up the texture. I have done some videos, some separate videos where I've gone out and about and exploring my town and city. Really interesting thing to do. If you were to go out and start looking about and start exploring, the amount of textured surfaces that you see can be really interesting. You can bring objects home. Say if you went down to the beach for the day, you might find different pebbles or stones or shells. Or if you went to your local woods, certain sticks and tree bark, that's a really, really good one. You can bring them home and actually do them at home. Or if you were, say, in the park, you could be there rubbing a tree bark or, say, a rock. And like I say, if you're exploring your urban landscape, it's amazing what you can see. Say, for instance, listed buildings where there's plaques on the wall. You can take the word rubbings and bring out that text onto paper. Street signs, letterboxes, post boxes, for instance, they've got like an embodied sign on them, and they're taking a symbol off there. Really good. So it is about getting out and about and seeing what you can explore your city and see what you can do. So what can you do once you've taken these rubbings? So you might have a collection. Say you might have gone out and seen a grid and taken the rubbing of the text on there, and you might have taken a rubbing of some seashells. So what you could do is move it into collage and start ripping and tearing or cutting, and then seeing what can go together, and then laying them out on your piece of paper and gluing them and creating a whole different image. Now, Max Ernest did that. He would take a textured surface, say, of this floorboard and then rip it up and tear it, and then maybe even draw back into it to create a whole new different image, like say a landscape or an animal. And you can get really creative around this. You could take, say, for instance, a load of different textured surfaces, rip them up, and then try and make your name out of all the collage and textured surfaces that you've got. Or you could even try to do a self-portrait. It could be quite abstract to do that and quite good fun. And this is what I'm saying. It's not, you can get really experimental in what you do. So look forward to seeing what kind of ideas you can come up with. And don't forget to check out the other videos and get inspired by them. Thank you.